access to marriage for the gay community, not unlike some work that's being done around women's rights to be ordained and things along that line. That's work for those faith traditions to do within their own structure.
So, yes. I think that was I think I'm doing a good job. But I could marry people, so I'm good. Yeah. But I think for me the first that sort of question. So where does it go next? First of all, I think maybe is loaded. Maybe not the way that you mean it, but sort of like, what is the next thing? I don't know. I wish I knew, because that would mean that I was a little bit more enlightened to what the actual social justice struggles are for people. But I can't really think of what the next thing is, which means that I'm probably really privileged and those things don't affect me in a really concrete way. If we're limiting the conversation specifically to marriage. But I do want to go back to, not to get on track, but to sort of what Father Gary brought up, which was interesting that sort of you want to reclaim this word. And I think the interesting piece of that is that, what I think what you said subsequent to that is sort of what I would like to see happen, which is that these communities that really have a problem with the way that the word's being articulated, you sort of have to recognize that the words in the culture, it's got its own meaning. I mean, if you go into Merriam-Webster's right now, the second definition of marriage is essentially like a definition of gay marriage, right? So it's in the dictionary, right? That doesn't mean anything, but it's in the dictionary. And so I think that communities that have this issue, that if you have the issue, you also have then the responsibility to sort of go back to your community and figure out as a community how you're going to articulate whatever that word means and reframe it and rethink it. I think, if we look at what LGBT people have done, if you look at queer theory, like the body of queer theory is sort of looking at language, saying language is insufficient, it doesn't do a job that represents us, it doesn't do a job that we're comfortable with or that we're happy with, so we're going to reclaim it, we're going to reframe it, and we're going to make it something that's productive, that communicates how we sort of view the world. You could look at Judith Butler, that's not necessarily language that is immediately easily to understand. It's sort of got a barrier to it, but that's what that project was. That was people sort of saying, we don't like these words, we don't like what language is doing, and so we're going to reclaim it. And so I think that people who have problems with the language, sort of, you have a responsibility to kind of re-articulate what that is. Sorry, I just wanted to...
But I guess I would like, okay, so here, first of all, I've been to several commitment ceremonies between people who identify as gay, lesbian. Don't tell the Pope. I've probably done over 350 supposedly heterosexual marriages. I gotta finish that story.
I have one too.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm fine with us reclaiming our definition. And by us, I mean almost all of the world religions, have sort of an agenda with this committed relationship. But yeah, so you're absolutely right. I'm going to totally agree with you on that. I just wish that we could figure out what our stake in this relationship is before we start talking about it more. The institution of marriage, and I say this after all these marriages, and I throw my heart, mind, soul, and body into preparing couples the best I can. The institution of marriage is totally failing. And part of my longing as a minister who does weddings and wants people to be well and happy and society to thrive and flourish is I just want to figure out how to help people be prepared for this the best they can and take seriously what the word commitment means. So if there's any value to forever commitment for society, we got to figure this out. And I guess my biggest fear and what breaks my heart is it seems like the gay community is just sort of, and I know there's a lot of exceptions to this in the gay community, but it seems like they're settling for this broken institution.
See,
you were saying that a little bit, Tanya, about why you were a little resistant to going forward with it, and I totally heard that because it is so broken. I don't know how to fix it. I'll break my ass to try to fix it the best I can, but it seems like a Band-Aid. My dream would be that the gay community would be a prophetic presence in this culture and society about a whole new way to do forever relationships. I mean, we don't know how to do it. We've never lived this long. We don't know. We haven't. Human beings have never. When I was first ordained 31 years ago, I would rarely go to a 25th anniversary, never a 50th, because everybody's dead. Now there's 50ths all the time I get invited to. So we don't know how to do this. And I guess my passion, because I believe in marriage so much, is I want the gay community to say, figure this out, you know, with a whole new name and a whole new challenge and a prophetic presence and a
But
new
you,
definition.
but see, I don't think changing the name is gonna.
Well, should
Oh, I
can you answer my first question? Should gay people have the access to the legal rights
Absolutely.
that marriage have right now?
Absolutely. Legal.
So,
Yeah, they should have, laws should support marriage, and laws should make it hard to get unmarried. And I want that for the gay and straight community.
So I think there's something really interesting in that, though, that when you're talking about making people sort of be healthy and happy, that there's this assumption that, first of all, marriage like can promote that, which I think there's probably as many examples that it doesn't do that as it does. But that more importantly, that we in some way like need marriage to create a happy, healthy community. And I think that there's something to be said for sort of accepting marriage, not necessarily for what it is, but that it could be better, but that it's a faulty institution, that it's based in this patriarchal understanding of, you know, I mean, in a lot of ways almost kind of chattel, right? And that it's flawed in its structure. And so we can do things to improve it, at the same time kind of simultaneously recognizing that if we really want to be a happy, healthy culture, we have to accept that like some people are never going to get married, some people don't want to get married, some people don't want long-term partnerships. For whatever reason, long-term partnerships don't work in a lot of cases. But the other thing that I think is really problematic about what you're talking about is that you want to see gay people be this prophetic example. And there's a couple of things about that bother me. First of all, that in the process of making us a prophetic example, we are sort of excluded from a lot of tax benefits, whatever the number, you know, 1,000 benefits that come with marriage, but also that to suggest that you want a population to be prophetic and then to exclude them from your religious tradition, I think is kind of, it's difficult for me, right? To sort of say that, I mean, you know, if an openly gay man is probably not going to get ordained in the city of St. Louis, right?
Probably not ordained.
Yeah.
He'd be welcome in the church.
He'd be welcome in your church, but it's sort of hard to be a prophetic leader when you can't really fully participate in that faith tradition. Not a Catholic, I don't mean to knock that, you know,
Well,
but that
I'd have to say I've been prophesied to by many a gay couple, and they've challenged the poop out of me. And really, I mean that.
that's
It's
a
been
weird
prophetic
choice of
presence.
words.
They challenged the hell out of me. How's that? Literally and figuratively.
Just have her hand up there.
Glad to hear talking about language. I do think it's very important, but I want to ask a question that pulls in a completely different direction. One of the reasons that language is important is because it's used in all of our laws and policies and things like that. And there are whatever thousands of benefits that go along with marriage, and I think that has a profound impact on the struggle. And I think that I consider I'm criticizing marriage because as a graduated senior with a set future, I can think that I will be financially independent for the rest of my life, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity, and I think that changes the dialogue. So I don't actually know what the question was. What is the relationship between all these words and then all of these laws that people their lives
So,
sometimes really
can I pick up
depend.
right there just for a second? If we keep fighting about the word marriage, we've seen what it does, for example, to the people of California. Why not say what tax laws, what legal ramifications are not available to committed homosexual couples? What is not available? Let's fight for those to be put there, because I think, and I am not a statistician, but I think most people in the United States would be glad to put those props in place for them, would like to give them tax benefits and things like that. But this marriage question, the word marriage is so loaded for so many people that we're fighting about the wrong thing. If we're fighting about the word marriage and we're screwing all these people from tax benefits because they're together, we're in the wrong fight, at least for now. Now, hopefully we can get there, but what's right now is for gay marriages, gay relationships, committed relationships, by whatever name, have every single benefit that a straight couple does, without exception,
So let me,
including adoption. Sorry.
so let me get a little bit over